We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. We therefore, the representatives of the United States of America, solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British Crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is and ought to be totally dissolved.
Good day, everybody. Welcome to another Chew and Chat. I am Justine Dorn. This is Ron Rayfield, and this is Arthur, our arch nemesis. But you know what? He's here today, and we're going to give him some cake. So maybe we can break bread over cake.
Well, there are some certain things that I think people can get along with, and cake, I think, is probably one of those. So
That's very well said.
Thanks for having me back.
It's the international language.
Yes, it is. Everyone speaks the language of pastries and sweet things. Speaking of which, this cake is called Independence Cake. This is a tradition that has completely died out in America, but it used to be a tradition to make Independence Day cake on the 4th of July every single year in the United States. And we do not do that anymore. And this is what the cake used to look like. This recipe is from the book American Cookery, published in 1796. And it is decorated with edible gold leaf and with boxwood leaves, which grow all over the place here. And the tradition was that there would be a big party, usually for the 4th of July, and people would get together and they would eat this cake. So the original recipe for this cake said to use like 20 pounds of flour or something like that. I had to cut it by 1/10. So this is 1/10.
And 4 dozen of eggs.
Right.
I remember reading that.
Right. So the original recipe would have made basically a very large wedding cake.
Yeah. Would it have fit on this? Probably wouldn't have fit on this table.
It probably would not have fit on this table, and we would have struggled greatly to eat it.
But hey, to see this cake being made, please go over to our main channel. That's Early American. Over there you can watch Justine make this beautiful cake. And over there we cook it.
And here we eat it, which we're about to do.
Well, let's serve our guest up first.
Okay.
In case it's poisonous, he can...
Oh yeah, are we sure this isn't poison ivy on the leaves?
I am not sure.
So
I just went outside and I grabbed whatever was green.
So the gold leaf is edible. It said decorate with gold leaf and box. Box meaning boxwood, the plant. Now the plant is not edible, so we'll pick the leaves off, but the gold you can eat. I've never ate gold before.
You do not want to eat boxwood.
That looks
That's
good.
Beautiful. Look, I can't promise that I'm going to eat the gold flakes. I might just take them with me.
Okay.
Take them.
Wow, what a river rat.
I got to pay the boys somehow, you know.
But you do not want to eat the leaves on it, the boxwood, because if you eat a lot of boxwood, you will have quite the reaction.
You turn into a box.
No, you do
a wooden box.
You turn into a box. No, you'll just throw up, and it's semi-toxic. It's not extremely toxic.
Oh, great. You could have told me that before you invited me. Now it all makes sense. It's all coming together.
I forgot to send you the disclaimer.
Yeah.
But hey,
so that's what you meant by when I had to sign the waiver.
Yes.
No. Yeah, you have to sign a waiver whenever you come over to our house to eat. Isn't that a red flag?
Yeah.
Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. And you can see we got, I hope you like raisins. We got raisins and we got citron in here, which is lime peel, is it?
No.
Candied lime peel?
No,
or?
it's not lime. Citron is a fruit called citron.
Really?
Yeah, but
I did not know there was a fruit called citron.
That's another thing. We do not eat that in this country much anymore. But if you eat a fruit cake around Christmas time, that has citron in it.
Real quick, before we take a bite in, I would like that, if it's all right with you guys, say toast. I just wanted to say a toast, I guess for freedom, for individualism, and patriotism. So,
Yes.
Here, here.
Here, here. All right.
Now we're slurring our words already, but wait till we eat this cake. There's a lot of alcohol in this cake.
Oh. No
Wow,
one's
it's really
complaining.
I want to hear what Arthur has to say about this. This is a 230-year-old cake recipe, so it's not quite like a modern cake.
So it's very dense, which doesn't I like. I prefer dense cakes.
Okay.
Moist and sweeter than I was expecting, actually. So given how the pumpkin pie recipe went, the original pumpkin pie recipe last time I was here, I was expecting a little bit less sweet. So the fact that this is sweet is really good.
True.
Going to be really interested once I get to the Citron, because to be honest, I've never even heard of it.
Do you see
So,
it? Do you see it?
I do have one right here, yeah,
Okay.
that I'm going to try to get and see what that tastes like.
It reminds me of coffee cake.
Oh
Little
yeah.
bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a coffee cake.
Is there any cinnamon in it?
There is cinnamon in
Yeah,
it.
I thought I tasted some.
Everything had cinnamon and alcohol in it back then, I swear. And currants. There are currants and everything.
Mm-hmm. You did a good job on that icing.
Yeah, the icing,
Thank you.
I was getting ready to say, is very good.
Thank you.
It takes about 15 minutes of constant whipping the egg whites with sugar to get this.
15 minutes. More like half an hour.
I like it.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
like it.
The Citron, I don't really know what the flavor was great. I just I don't know what to relate that taste
strange.
to. Yeah.
I never even knew it was a separate fruit.
Yep, it's a thing.
I thought it was lime peels because
No.
they did have candied orange peels, so I thought it was maybe just lime.
It's its own fruit called citron. If you ever have fruit cakes around Christmas time, it usually has citron in it. And the grocery stores are more likely to have citron for sale around December.
So what about that gold flake? What do you think about that?
Are you about to try it?
I'm getting ready to try it. I was
Okay.
thinking about peeling it off, like I said, and taking
No,
it with
eat
me.
it.
I'm
No.
gonna go for it.
I guess we're gonna try it out.
This would be really weird. I feel like I'm eating tin foil.
It should not have a taste.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go to the local general store and
Try to sell
barter. Yes.
It has
Well-
no taste.
It has no taste.
Let me put one around my tooth.
Yeah.
Have a good old tooth.
Yeah, it's like it's not even there.
Okay, so I said it was like a coffee cake, but the more I eat the fruit in it, the more it seems like a cross between a fruit cake and a coffee cake. It's
Yeah.
a fruit coffee cake.
Okay, it's a coffee cake with fruit in it, and half of the bar in it as well, because there's wine and there's brandy in here.
Mm-hmm.
I actually quite like it.
Absolutely. I think it's great.
Okay,
I have somewhat of a sweet tooth, and I think this satisfies that. So,
okay,
Great job.
thank
Yes.
you.
I would give this a 8 out of 10.
That's good. How about you, Arthur?
I'm probably around there as well. I don't know what I'd be comparing this to.
Right,
So,
the pumpkin pie.
yeah, if I'm comparing it to the original pumpkin pie, this is a 12 out of 10. So I would say just based off of initial gut feeling, probably about 7.5.
Okay, that's fair. That's very fair.
And like I'm comparing that to today's
Right.
modern food and
Right.
modern cake. I mean, it's if you made this at a celebration, I would not know any different that this was a recipe from the 1700s, 1800s.
Right.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it?
The only distinctive difference between this and a modern one that would throw me would be maybe just the fluffiness, because we're so used to modern cakes being like a sponge, like it just bounces
Right.
and fluffy.
Because
but the taste,
there's no baking powder, there's no baking
Right.
soda. This has yeast in it.
so it's more bready like, but the taste, you could serve this modern, nobody would even know.
No, they wouldn't. Now, for me, the one thing that I do not like about it is the fact that modern cakes have icing in between the layers. This does not have icing on any part of it except the outside, The recipe did not say to ice in between any layers, but I honestly think the original cake was not layers. I think it was just cooked in a giant mold, which I don't have. So I had to cook it in little redware pie plates, and then I stacked them up together. But if you were going to make this in modern times and you wanted to make it even better, then sure, add icing in between the layers. It will definitely help it to stick together better if you don't have a gigantic, huge, massive mold. We have some sparkler candles.
I've made several cakes that have turned to be this dense. Now, with that being said, I'm not a great baker, so yours was on purpose and mine never is. But hey, I can just say I have something to compare to now.
Okay.
Yeah, I would definitely eat this again. If it was little cupcakes size, like you just take them with you, I'd be in trouble.
These things scare me.
Hey, I want to thank all of you who came to St. Genevieve this past weekend for our Independence Day celebration.
You there? Right there.
Some of you were from Ohio, some were from Kansas City, I believe. So thank you very much for coming all the way down and seeing us. The heat was crazy. It was almost 100 degrees, and I understand why a lot of people couldn't make it, and we almost barely survived it ourselves.
I know.
And so between the heat and the potential tornado weather that they were talking about, it was a good event.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
I'm happy with the way it
And
turned
it
out.
didn't rain until an hour after the event was over, so it was perfect. We were already packed up and everything. We got out of there and it started raining, so it really worked out. And we're in a drought anyway, so we're grateful it rained.
After we packed up and went to the old brick, and we're sitting there eating, and all of a sudden it just downpours, and the streets become rivers, and everybody's looking out the windows like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy, the weather that came in there. But I also wanted to add that there was also two ladies from New Jersey that made the trip as well, and they were staying in Candy's cabin that she
That's
has.
right.
So yeah, they were very
Yes.
nice, and it was a pleasure to talk to you guys if you guys end up watching this.
Yes, absolutely.
We got poppers. They had these back then. But
Really?
not these ones exactly, obviously, made out of plastic, but...
Whoa.
Whoa, give me a warning next time.
I think this cake calls for something like that. It's good.
That was loud.
I know, it is loud.
I definitely think more icing in
Yeah.
between the layers would be
Yes.
would
That's
definitely be a benefit.
a modern touch, but it would really be good.
With this being as dense of a cake, was there any like sweets or cakes back then that would have some sort of nuts involved as well? Like if there was a walnut or a pecan or something that
That is an
they'd be willing to put in?
excellent
Almonds,
question.
maybe.
Almonds, definitely. I've seen a lot of recipes with almonds in it. There was a huge almond craze in this time period in America and in Europe. I haven't found evidence of any other nut except almonds yet, but I'm sure the recipe's out there. I've just never sat down and said, today I'm going to find a pecan cake from the 1800s, 1700s. I mean, like early 1800s. I've never really seriously looked into it, but I'm sure they have pecans because those are grown in America. I think they're native to America. I think they're native.
So.
Yeah, I think they are native to the United States area. I mean, we have pecan festivals all over here and all that. People are obsessed with them here, so I figured that they are native. So there has to be some kind of a recipe for it. It might have just not been written down, though.
Or it might have been written down in somebody's personal
Right, and that's lost.
keeping and not in a published book.
Right, yeah. So I'll look into that.
I think having that added nutty flavor would work.
And like a crunch.
And, like a crunch or consistency, I think would be a good fit for this cake.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just as I'm eating it, I'm like, I think this would go well with it. So.
Yeah, I love it when my desserts have texture to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would really love that.
Well, hey, let's get into This Week in History. There's a lot of stuff that happened this week, and it's not all around 1776. There's some earlier ones.
That's got a good bite of Citron.
Oh, yeah.
By itself, I will admit, I'm not a huge fan. It's not bad. It's just, it's different. It's definitely different.
Before we go into this week in history, we should talk about why the 4th of July is the 4th of July. Like, what happened on this day in 1776?
So, on this day in 1776, the Second Continental Congress adopted or approved of the Declaration of Independence.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, on July 2nd is whenever they started voting on it, and it never was even signed until August 2nd, so a whole month later. But this is the day that Congress said, all right, we're going to do it, and so that's why we go with the 4th and not either or.
And as the name of it suggests, Declaration of Independence, it was a declaration that the colonies are going to be independent from England.
Mm-hmm.
And we became an independent country, the United States of America.
You know, I always wondered, and maybe the Canadians viewers who watch this, why didn't Canada join us?
I don't know.
It would have been so much easier if we all over here in North America would have fought against Europe. I always wondered that.
I don't know why.
They probably didn't like our healthcare system.
Yeah, probably something to do with that.
But they hold these truths to be self-evident. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That every man is endowed by his creator and created equal. I said that out of order, but
yeah, still that's
same meaning.
That's what it's about, and that's one thing, when with the celebration that we had over the weekend, that we just don't get enough of nowadays. It's not just about shooting fireworks, and I understand. Majority of people understand that they get together and celebrate why we're still living in a free country. But we have to realize the sacrifices that have been made over the years, specifically by our founders, anyone who signed the Declaration of Independence, basically threw their name in the hat for treason against the king. And that's something substantial. Think to yourself, nowadays, would you be willing to do that for your country? Or for not even for your country, but for independence,
well, you
for freedom.
Lose your job, lose your home, probably your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Throw all that out the window and all in the namesake of freedom. So think to yourself, would you be willing to do that?
Yeah.
You could have made a million movies out of what happened during the Revolutionary War. It was incredible what people did, what they went through. It inspired the whole world. I mean, it was amazing.
Well, look at France.
Yeah, France
had their revolution.
Got some inspiration from America, and France was an ally to America during the Revolution.
Now theirs was more of a political revolution, but nonetheless it was a revolution.
Well, ours was too.
Right, but they cut the heads off their king and stuff. They went crazy with it.
Well, if the king would have been over here, then maybe that would have happened too. You never know.
Maybe.
Never know.
Yeah, he never set foot over here.
No, it's
He caught one look at us and said, "Nope."
I'm not gonna be told what to do by some guy 3,000 miles away across the ocean.
I've seen all these jokes online where it says, like, what if people invaded America? If they invaded the Appalachia and they just started hearing banjo music, they're like, "Oh, that's some nice banjo music." Like, "Oh, you better run for your life, man. Americans are crazy."
And no trespassing sign means no trespassing.
Yeah, that really means no trespassing.
That's a literal sign. We shoot.
Right.
Shoot first, ask questions later.
Ask questions later.
So what you got, Ron?
Alright, so what I've got is, so this week in history on July 2nd, 1803, the Louisiana Purchase is announced to the American public. Now, it was purchased back in April, on April 30th, of 1803, but it was kept secret. It was not announced to the public yet. So, on July 2nd,
Clean plate.
1803,
It is clean plate.
it was announced to the public.
That's cool.
On that same day, July 2nd, but in 1818, the U.S. Flag Act of 1818 requires that the American flag must have 13 stripes and a star for every state. And if there was a new state that came about, the new star wouldn't be added until July 4th the next year.
Oh, I did not know that.
So
So
part.
that was pretty cool. I didn't know that either. That was pretty neat to learn.
Right.
Now, the last one I have for July 2nd is in 1890, Idaho becomes the 43rd state. So happy birthday, Idaho.
Very nice.
As we move on to July 4th, now this one you wouldn't think would be possible. It's from the 1500s. Any guess to what happened
In
1500?
America?
Yes.
I don't know.
Do you guys know what happened in the late 1500s in America?
During the week of July 4th?
On July 4th.
Oh, what? I really don't know.
I don't either.
Alright, so forgive me if I mispronounce these last names, but in 1584, Philip Amdes and Arthur Barlow make landfall at Roanoke Island in North Carolina.
That happened on the 4th of July.
Yes. They
What are the
they
odds?
discovered Roanoke, or said this is going to be Roanoke, and then a few years later the colony showed up there, and that's the colony that went disappearing.
Oh, yeah.
After they settled there, some guy went back to Europe, and when he returned with supplies, everybody was gone,
Yeah.
and they just had a name that said Croatoan, I believe, carved,
Right.
and they assumed they got adopted with the Indians or were attacked and killed, or there's lots of theories. And
There
documentaries
is.
on it.
There's some pretty solid evidence that they just got taken in by the native Indian
Right.
tribes, though. Like, they found
Because I think they were friendly.
steel and guns, like European items, and neighboring tribes, so...
And then, of course, in 1776, on July 4th, the Declaration of Independence is adopted by the Second Continental Congress.
Right.
And then on 1872, on July 4th, President Coolidge is born.
Okay.
So
It's
happy
my-
birthday, President Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge, one of my favorite presidents.
Really?
Oh.
Oh yeah, he did a lot to. I think he's actually the last sitting president to work with Congress to get spending cuts done at the federal level.
Oh, wow.
Ever since the 1920s, Calvin Coolidge administration, there's been an increase in spending every single year, and Calvin Coolidge was the last president. I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
Wow.
No, Coolidge was the last president to do that. So we need another modern day Coolidge.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cut
Yeah.
spending.
Cut spending, please. Yes.
Big government's bad. That's why this happened.
He had the famous saying that he wants Americans to work less for the government and more for themselves.
Makes sense.
Wow.
His presidency was in the 1920s,
Okay.
early 1920s. I think
Okay.
he only served basically 1.5 terms. I think he was the vice president and then took over, and then he served 1 term, and then
I see.
he was done. Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
And then I've got one for July 5th. This is in 1643. The first recorded tornado in America is recorded. And that happened in Essex
Bet it
County.
was in Missouri. No, I'm just
No,
kidding.
actually, it was in Essex County, Massachusetts.
Oh wow.
Massachusetts.
Where you wouldn't think there'd be a tornado,
No.
way up north.
Not at all.
And that's all I got for this week in history. I want more cake.
You haven't even... Oh, I was gonna say, finish what you got.
Well, I've been talking.
It is pretty good.
But hey, let's talk about fireworks.
Oh,
We
yeah.
mentioned fireworks a while ago. They did have fireworks, and they've had fireworks for a long time. So the Chinese developed gunpowder, or black powder if you will, around the 9th century. So that's when our first fireworks kind of show up. Now there are primitive fireworks before the 9th century, all the way back to the 2nd century BC, but they didn't have black powder in them.
Huh.
The Chinese would throw sealed up bamboo sticks in the fire, and the air pocket would get, the bamboo gets so hot, and then it just pops.
Whoa.
So they consider that the first firecracker.
Man, I love learning new things.
And that's in 2nd century BC.
That's fascinating.
That's
But like I said,
that's crazy.
The black powder comes around the 9th century AD.
And that eventually made its way over to Europe, and then the
Mhm.
development of guns
Oh yeah.
started to progress.
And it was used for weapons, the powder.
Cannons and all that.
But here's a description about George Washington's first inaugural in 1789 in New York City. the sky was filled with fireworks, and they were well executed, and there was great applause by one of the eyewitnesses of that event. And there's even a book that I found from 1770. It's in German, so I can't can't read any of it to you, but I translated it, and it's the Dutch Firework Manual, and it's the description of art fireworks as they show themselves in their elaborations. It's 376 pages long. Now I did flip through this. The pictorials show pictures of rockets. They show how you would make a DIY firework if you
at
will,
home.
and what mixtures to use and how to apply the wick to it. And there's some that are like in pots of plants.
Yeah, there's some that are just really creative looking.
They look like lanterns. They take a lantern and it looks like a cone, like we have the fountain cones today. So it's really, there's some similarities.
There is a plant in the pot. I think it's a funny thing.
Yeah, they've also got like a big pinwheel thing that's really neat looking. It's got a bunch of rockets on it.
Oh yeah, and it spins in circles.
So it just spins in circles. Crazy.
That is nuts. Well, if you plan on trying to build, or if you read that book and plan on trying to build something like that, you might be careful because the CIA might come down your back. In today's world, you might making your own fireworks.
Yeah.
Probably illegal.
Good luck.
When I was a kid, I did try that.
Really?
I bought a bunch of those bottle rockets that are super cheap. I'd like empty them out and try to build like a rocket with a piece of PVC pipe, and I painted like red, white, blue, and put wings on it. Lit it up. It never did anything. It just caught on fire.
Woohoo! America!
Hey,
I always tried to make rockets.
as long as it goes boom and it gets, or as long as it makes light and it goes boom, then that's a success. That's exactly right.
Okay. Yeah, so how did people celebrate the 4th of July 200 plus years ago? Surprisingly, very similarly to how we do today, minus this cake. So that the families would get together, the whole village would get together, the whole town would get together, and they would have barbecues, they would drink alcohol, they'd party, they'd dance, they'd play music, they would shoot guns. Now that is a thing that's kind of died out on 4th of July.
I don't know, around here there's still some shooting going on.
So, because nowadays it's more fireworks, I think. But back then they would get together and shoot off their muskets, and they would do fireworks.
Yes.
I mean, it sounds to me like we need to bring back the original traditions.
Yeah.
Sounds like a good old time.
I mean, yeah, there are a lot of similarities, but to me, I find shooting guns a lot more fun than fireworks. But fireworks are fun too, especially for the kiddos. But
right.
What's your favorite firework to shoot off?
Well, I mean, I think a classic bottle rocket for me is great because, of course, I would not recommend anybody, and I'm sure most kids in our generation had done this in some time or the other, but just hold them and let them fly out of your hand as you burn your knuckles.
People shoot each other with those too.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I won't confirm nor deny if I've done that or not.
Confirm or deny.
I won't do either one.
I may or may not know someone who actually went blind in one eye.
Oh, goodness.
Because of what happened is she was very young. I think she was like 10 years old, something like that. And they were shooting them at each other. And this didn't even happen in America, by the way. I grew up mainly in Germany. And it shot her straight directly in the eye.
Oh, man.
Yeah, she was my best friend when I was in middle school. But
yeah, I mean, obviously they can be dangerous. So I actually have two scars right here. One I don't know if you see it on camera or not, but one on my lower arm by my armpit area, and then one right outside my armpit area from a Roman candle from one of our friends who decided to shoot me. I won't name that friend. It was not Ron.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't Ron.
It wasn't me.
Ron might have been
me.
there, but it wasn't Justine.
what a river rat! Those are the kind of friends river rats would have.
That's what we do for fun. We hurt each other.
Me and Arthur's been friends for over 15 years now. I think I've known you since 2008.
Yeah,
that's a long time.
It is a long time to think about that we're that old.
Now, were you there the night that me and Jake lit that commercial firework off? That was a no-no. Never light one of them like you're lighting a regular firework because it's instantaneous.
You have to be really far away.
Kaboom! We were right here lighting it.
I don't think I was there. Man, I always miss all the fun.
That was the 4th of July / Aaron's graduation party.
Oh, I would have been there then.
You were there.
I would have been there.
So what happened when you did that?
Well, our friend Jake, his hair got singed off. I thought his face blew off. It was nighttime. We didn't know what we were doing. So he purchased a vehicle, and the guy he purchased it from did the Farmington County fireworks. He said, here, you can have a couple of these. Because we were at a storage unit. And we said, okay. Didn't tell us how to shoot them off.
Oh, goodness.
So like these big shells is what they're called or whatever. And it looked like there was some kind of a wick, but I think it was a wire because they're all electronically nowadays. Well, as soon as we hit it with any kind of fire or anything, it just...
Bam.
You all were young too, weren't you?
Yeah, we were like 15.
18.
I know there is a lot of people that watch Early American and Frontier Patriot, but I don't think there's ever been one time that we've claimed to be intelligent. So
No, never. You come in the wrong place.
Yeah, we don't do smart things, but we do dumb things, so you don't have to.
Exactly.
So take it from us.
Right.
Pop another one here. I got one too. Thank you very much. These are always a blast. As I shoot it right at Ron's face. Like I said, intelligence, not a whole lot of going around here.
Right. I have to say, I'm pretty grumpy about how Ron just cut this cake.
Well, you had those candles in the way.
I
so-
can't believe he seriously just cut it like this, folks. What in tarnation?
I think you're just jealous of my fine cutting skill. Does anybody want another piece of cake, by the way?
Do you cut a pizza by cutting like a slice directly in the center of the pizza?
It's all going to the same place.
Yeah, can we just cut a circle around the middle for me so I
Yeah.
get the big gold flake and
Let me just take my
run out of
mug
here?
and turn it upside down and put it like smack down in the
Yep.
center and pull it out.
Perfect. Perfect slice for me.
Hey, I
But-
got one more thing to mention before I
Oh,
forget.
really?
We had a young patriot named Luke from South Carolina who drew this, or colored this awesome picture of Alfred, our little
Our rabbit.
mascot on Early American.
Yes.
So thank you very much for doing this. On the back, he requested one of the coloring books that we're now sold out of. I did mention they would be back in stock around Christmas time, so I do have your information written down, and I will be sending you one around Christmas. Thank you very much for the lovely picture of Alfred there.
Yeah, that was
Great
very
job.
sweet of you. Did a very good job.
How cool is that? That is awesome.
We
And-
love getting things like that, especially from kids. That means we're inspiring
A new generation.
yeah, new generation.
Yeah, I mean, great drawing too. He's 9 years old, I think it said.
Right.
Yeah, 9 years old.
Far better than I could do.
Right, oh, same. And Alfred also says he really loves it and he sees the resemblance and please send carrots.
Yeah. Well, I loved it. I know there's some
Okay.
pieces here that I didn't eat. Look, I'm not gonna lie, not a huge fan of raisins. So
Okay.
It's
A lot
know-
of people aren't.
yeah. There's something about I love grapes. Love grapes. You know, just something about raisins that I don't know. Never been a fan of.
I knew you were a river rat and you couldn't be trusted.
Well, you know you can't trust someone who never. I think my grandma told me that saying, never trust anybody who doesn't like raisins. I almost said grapes. And so
Huh.
I always lied to her and tell her that. I
Wow,
like
what
raisins.
a river rat!
So we shouldn't trust you.
Yeah. If you haven't figured that out already, then apparently I'm a pretty good actor.
Yes.
But
Speaking of acting, we really need to do a drama episode
Yeah,
sometime
we
soon.
do.
It's been a long time.
And we have a whole lot of
Christmas,
drama in our lives.
Or actually, it was Halloween was the last one, I think.
yeah,
Yes,
would
it
have been
was.
Halloween, yeah.
Wow.
Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need like a Ron and Arthur final showdown with some swords.
We could do it.
People have been
That's-
asking us, they say, are you going to do another drama video to explain why you're building this new house? Actually, yes, we are.
It's
We've
just
been planning that for a while.
it's just everybody's super busy. Yes, he's sitting
Mhm.
right here, but he's got to run here in a little bit and get to other stuff. Everybody's just so busy.
The
and-
constable is on him right now. The police are chasing him from all the gold he's been stealing, so...
We've only got him reserved for the half an hour.
Constantly running. Look, when you live a life of danger and luxury like I do, then you're always on the run and you gotta slot times where you can. But
Oh,
when I hear cake, I make special time frames that I show up for. So that's why I'm here today.
Time frames that did not previously exist magically open up with the mention of cake.
Absolutely. So for anybody who wants me to show up to an event, you say cake, I'll be there.
He just magically kind of fades in the room.
Someone say cake? Here I am.
Oh, hey!
Yeah, Arthur's a great sport. He came and marched with us this weekend when it was hot. He's not an official member of the militia because he's got 15 irons in the fire and everything going on. But if we need somebody to stand in, he's our guy.
Yep.
He's our guinea pig for these videos. Like I said, I've been great friends with him for 15 years, so I really appreciate you being here for this. I know you got a lot going on today even.
Yeah.
But,
Well, I love it. I mean, it's something that I get to do that kind of takes the mind off things. Very similar to 4th of July event that was going on. Look, I run multiple businesses, And I got to shut my phone off and spend 3 hours with some good friends doing some good things and showing what an original celebration would have been like here in St. Genevieve. And it was great. Of course, when I got back to back to the 21st century here, I had 3 missed calls, about 20 texts, but that's all right. That's a part of it. And I would always do my best to make it look like I know what I'm doing, even though I usually don't. So
that's
nobody
solid advice.
Yeah, well, you guys got some pretty good leaders in the group. Specifically with the militia or the French militia captain. He always whisper in my ear, tell me what to do, and hey, just follow the guy next to you. And I'm like, all right, you got it, sir. So it's always a great time. I always appreciate the invitation. Very much look forward to the next drama video. Those are fun. I get to show people how terrible of an actor I am, and how much better Ron has become over the years. Because if you would have told me 15 years ago Ron would have been doing this, there is no doubt out of all of our friends group that we had, Ron would have been on the least. He would have been the farthest person away that I thought he would have been doing this. So it's great.
I back then, all the shenanigans we did, I was the guy that filmed everything and had the ideas. I wasn't doing nothing.
Not in front of the camera.
You couldn't get me in front of the camera, but now,
It's amazing.
How's it going, guys?
Yeah.
The power of a woman nagging. I tell Ron, you gotta do it. Come on, I'm not doing it by myself.
No, but if you look back,
We tried for years, and you show up, and all of a sudden,
my nagging is on another level that will surpass any other nag.
But when you look at those first drama videos I was in, I couldn't keep a straight face when I had to be serious or something. But now, I'm not bragging, but I've just gotten comfortable with you guys. You guys are great. We love you guys. So I feel like
we're all friends.
We have this connection to where I'm not shy anymore. So I look forward to the drama ones because they're fun to do now. But I was so nervous in those early ones whenever Lafayette, there's that one scene, I'm telling him off and I got him backed against the wall. And you can see my face, I'm trying not to smile. But
try getting hit with a spoon outside and try not smiling on that one. So how can you not smile while Justine's racking you over the side of the head with the spoon?
I wish we would have kept the bloopers. You guys would get a kick out of them. There's a lot of bloopers and they're hilarious.
Yeah, well, that's, you talk about the gentleman who played Lafayette, his acting chops and how great he was. And
that guy was actually
And then I have
trained.
to come in and be the next bad guy who is just a terrible actor. So how am I supposed to follow him up?
You're great.
So,
that guy actually had training. The rest of us are winging it, but no, you do great.
He was our friend, though.
Yes.
He just happened to take drama classes.
Yes. But hey, last week when we were on the St. Gen TV, I seen in the comments some people were talking, hey, there's that river rat, and the more you present yourself as a professional and everything, like, I'm starting to like Arthur.
They're turning over.
They're turning that, and that's been the scheme the whole time.
When you guys
the whole time.
It
As
is a
soon
scheme.
as I started on this, I said, you know what? It's my turn. It's time to turn the people against Ron and Justine. If you look back in the comments and some of the videos, I've been trying to lobby for years to tell you guys that these are the true bad guys, and the river rats were the good ones.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Oh my gosh.
It's up to you at home to decide.
Yes.
You just gotta find the context yourself, do the research, and realize, who's who's got the golden heart here.
I'm a baddie.
Like I said, historically, if you go through the videos, I haven't physically harmed anybody yet. Justine,
Yeah, you really haven't.
Justine is profound with pots and pans and spoons.
And poison on occasion.
Ron has shot somebody. I mean, hey, it's there. It's there. You just have to not be swooed by their awesome characters here.
See, he has the boys do his dirty work.
That's right. That's right.
The boys are
Make
the
us
only-
look good.
I guess the boys and myself and Justine are the ones that have done any damage.
We just gotta do it ourselves because I can't afford to hire no Goonies.
Well, it sounds to me like we need a spin-off so that people really understand how great of a person Arthur is.
Okay, we
Yeah,
can
but
do
he-
that.
how much he really looks-
backstory to where he became a traitor.
Yeah.
We forgot about that.
Yeah, I did forget about that. Okay,
Oh, yeah,
well,
I
I'm not
forgot.
saying I'm an angel. Never said that. I'm eating cake with alcohol in it, right? So never professed to be an angel.
Now, to completely change the subject, I want to draw some attention to my hat right now, which is a completely modern hat that I actually picked up for $6 whopping But I didn't realize it did this, but when I brought it home, I noticed that there was a small button on the side of it. And if you have epilepsy at home, please turn away now. I do not know why the hat does this. Okay, here I go.
Oh, yeah.
Why are there strobe lights in my hat?
I don't know, but it's really bright.
That is bright. That is interesting. You think they'd be different colors or something? That'd be pretty
No,
neat.
it's-
Red, white, and blue.
It just looks like something you would use to find your way at night. Or
It would be a safe hat to wear at night if you're
Yes,
walking along
You're
the street.
You going for your nightly run.
patriotic nightly run hat.
It's 4th of July nightly run. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, what's more crazy is the fact that was $6.
Yeah, it
A
was-
couple years ago, that'd only been a couple dollars.
Right.
Oh, that's true, that's true.
Well, hey, I think we're gonna head off here. We got a lot of celebrating to do today. It being 4th of July, we've got some fireworks to set off. Thank you all very much for being here, and God bless America, and God bless all of you.
Thank you for watching. Take care. We will see you next week on Frontier Patriot. Bye, guys.